Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of In Between the Stitches. As always, I am your host, Brady Wilson, with my co-host, Chase Olschwanger.
What's going on?
And, what is going on is a lot of things in sports. We have got baseball pennant race. We have got NFL going into, week 3 stuff, and then week 4. And, college football is absolutely going crazy right now. Obviously, 12-team playoff is definitely, creating a lot more excitement, I think, from a lot of people.
For sure.
Knowing that if you can win your conference, you have a chance, you're going to get automatically in. Obviously, at Boise State, they win. They are probably going to be the automatic bid from the group of 5 teams. Pac-12 is adding new teams, so there's a lot of stuff, but there is still not a lot of stuff with the Stars and the Mavs because, still off-season, preseason. I think the Stars have played 2 preseason games. I believe they've won both of them.
Yeah, they have won both.
Mavs, you say start next week. You say?
Yeah, training camp next week.
Okay, so they're just we're getting close, but not there just yet.
Not there yet.
So I guess we'll start with baseball, and baseball is absolutely going crazy right now. This is the best time of the season, especially when you get a lot of races, for the wild card for a division, right? The Yankees seem to have locked up. So since we last spoke, there's been some clinches. I don't know if we've announced all of them, but basically Cleveland and Houston have clinched their divisions. Baltimore and New York have clinched a playoff spot. Philadelphia and Milwaukee have both clinched their division, and San Diego and the Dodgers have clinched a playoff spot. And actually, San Diego and the Dodgers are playing right now, not currently at this second, but they are playing in a current series right now, and the Padres are only 2 games back of the Dodgers. And they had a triple play to end the game last night, which was absolutely bonkers. And that is, I think a lot of people are rooting for the Padres. They're the underdog against the big bad Dodgers who spend money to win baseball games instead of actually trying to develop talent. So, I think a lot of people are rooting for San Diego. I would be probably one of those. I don't hate the Dodgers, but I hate what they've become. I hate that they've become a Yankee team. They're the National League Yankees. And if you had said that in like the 40s and 50s, you'd been shot in Brooklyn. You said the Dodgers are like the Yankees. You've got the Mets and the Diamondbacks currently in a playoff spot, the wild card. And then the Braves are a half game out in a current series against Atlanta. They lost.
And the Braves versus Mets.
Yeah. Sorry, Mets in a current series with the Braves. Braves won. You got Sale and Peterson going today, which is like a repeat of 2022. It was coming down to the last couple days here, the last 5 games, and lo and behold, Mets-Braves are playing each other. Obviously, the Phillies have already locked that division down, but it'll be interesting to see who can pull this one out. And Arizona is clinging to life. They've lost 3 straight. They're 5-5 in their last 10. You really could see the Mets. Well, what could happen is if the Mets and Braves kind of come out of this, let's say the Mets win the next 2, but the Braves go on a tear and the Diamondbacks lose, then the Mets and Braves make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that is something that you really could see, and it would be all kinds of hilarious if it happened. Obviously, the Rangers are officially out. It did happen, I think, over the weekend. Very sad. You would have loved to have been able to run it back. So we are no longer the reigning defending champs, but for the next about month, we will still be the reigning champs. And nobody can take that away until probably around November 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So we can still say that. But that's the National League stories. The American League, in the junior circuit here, you have got the Detroit Tigers and the Royals clinging to a playoff spot, both with the exact same record. And then the Twins, Mariners, and Boston all within at least 3.5 games. Boston's 3.5 out, Seattle's 2.5 out, and Minnesota is 2 out.
Is it updated? Because Seattle just won.
No, it will not be updated. So they're now 2 back.
82 and 77.
Because they gained the half game. Minnesota has lost 3 straight. Detroit has won 3 straight. Kansas City has won 3 of their last 10. So they're in a bit of a funk. Boston and Seattle are Boston's won 4 straight. So they were 74 and 7. They were 76 and 78, and now obviously they creep to 80. So they should be at least 500 baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers will not finish at 500. They are already at 83 losses. They should at least get to 75 wins. You would think that would be where they would end up. You got 5 games, so obviously 79 and 83 is possible. I'm going to guess they're probably going to finish with 77 wins and 85 losses. That's kind of where I'm at for the Rangers, which is sad, but you know what? Hey, we won a World Series. We'll come back next year and have those kind of high expectations again.
Mm-hmm.
But in the news of crap fest, I guess if you want to call it, the White Sox had a come-from-behind win last night to not become excluding, I think it was the Cleveland Spiders, who I think they were 20 and like 140. That to me doesn't count
Right.
in a way because they didn't have the modern record though of the modern day. The White Sox, they've tied the 62 Mets at 37 and 120 with 5.
Got to go 5-0.
No. We have 5 games to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 5 games to play. So this is where things get fun. They could finish with a higher win total than the Mets, but still over 120 losses, which is kind of what I guess matters. But they were able to, I was actually watching that game because I'm like, you know what, I want to see history.
Yeah.
And they came back.
I saw people at the end of the game, they were booing when they won.
Oh my gosh, when the second home run was hit by the Angels, you could hear, the announcers went quiet. They didn't say anything. You could just hear, sell the team, sell the team. So, the sell the team chants definitely in full force. And they're probably all, in full force in Oakland, where we are right now. We are playing in the final series at the Coliseum, which is very sad. It really is. It's a very historic building. A lot of great things have happened there, football and baseball, because the Raiders used to play there. So it is very sad. We hate John Fisher. I will very much join the I Hate John Fisher fan club. Yeah, they'll be in Sacramento next year.
Yep.
In that minor league ballpark, it's gonna be freaking crazy. I hate it. Just stay in Oakland. And did you see the letter he put out where he was like, "We tried to stay in Oakland, but we just couldn't make it work." And it's like, no, you didn't. You didn't try to make it work. You didn't want it to work. So that's fine. He's a great businessman.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a lot of money, but he's a terrible sports owner. Yeah, I will tell you how I really feel about John Fisher.
Yep.
But that is the pennant race right now. And this is when baseball really gets fun because it's not playoff baseball yet, but it's about as close as you're going to get to it.
Because teams are going to act like these final regular season games are playoff games.
Oh, they are.
So.
100%. If I was giving my predictions as to what I think will happen, I think it'll probably stay put the way it is. But I could definitely see Atlanta overtaking Arizona.
Well, yeah, you'd think that Atlanta wins tonight, just for the pitching matchup that they have.
Yeah.
With the National League should be unanimous Cy Young, which both I don't know. This might be a dumb question, but how often is it that both leagues have unanimous Cy Youngs? Is it often?
I would say that I believe Shohei last year was the first ever unanimous MVP. So I'd be willing to guess that it is not very common.
Because both pitchers should easily be unanimous.
I assume we're going Skubal
and Sale.
And Sale.
Yeah. Should be unanimous for each.
Yeah,
unless some guy wants to throw Skeens in there just because.
He definitely has been probably the most talented pitcher, but not for the full season. Right. He came up in May?
Yeah.
So we'll monitor that. Playoff predictions, here's how we're going to do it. We talked about this pre-show, and we feel we've come to something that makes sense. So because the playoff scheduling is weird, and we will be recording next Wednesday, which is October 2nd. If you don't know, I've been told people don't know when we record. We record around 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. on Wednesdays, roughly 3:45 to 4, somewhere in there is where we get started. Like right now, it is currently 4:05. So this is all Central Time. So I've been told people don't know when we record. So I'm just announcing that. And so when we record this time next week, the second game of the wild card round for everybody will be going on. Like we'll have it up right here on the computer, watching it, probably giving you some, not play by play, but as some live updates as to what's going on. And there's a chance that a game could be over. If they start a game at 12, it could be over by the time we're recording.
Yeah. And
a team could have swept. So meaning we give our predictions then, well, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So this weekend we're going to get together. We're going to come up with our own predictions. Obviously, and then the playoffs start, but after we know who's in the playoffs
Right.
and where everybody's seated.
You're just gonna have to trust us, knowing that we're doing it before and that it is 100%
Wow,
legit.
shocker! I got all the wild cards right. Oh, how did that happen? Getting the wild cards right isn't as difficult. I think we both said Rangers and Twins last year. I want to say we both did, and I know we both said Rangers. And then I want to say I took Phillies because they beat the Marlins, I believe.
It was Twins Blue Jays, right? I think.
And then it was.
Yeah, I think it's like Twins.
I think I got one wrong. I got the Brewers wrong. I remember that. I said Brewers over Arizona. So
I believe I did too.
I think we both we will have to.
Well, at least if I took Arizona, I definitely had them losing to LA the second.
Yeah.
So
No, but that's when we're gonna do it. So doing it right now would be too difficult because what if the Twins go on a tear? Hell, what if the Red Sox go on a tear? And then we'd have to figure out. We would literally be here for probably 2 hours going through all the scenarios that could happen. So what if San Diego takes the next couple from LA and they win the division? That changes everything. It changes all the matchups. So you'll have to trust us on that, as Chase said, that we made them before the playoffs started.
yes.
Ohtani, we didn't mention this yet. Ohtani did get to 50-50. Never happened
Crazy.
in the history of baseball. I do believe it would have happened if it had been more prevalent. Obviously, I would say the person that started it all was probably Canseco when he was doing the 40-40 stuff. And people are like, well, who could do 50-50? If this had been something that people had thought about in the 1900s, there probably would have been at least a couple guys that could have done it. Mickey Mantle was quoted as saying, if I thought 40-40, if I knew 40-40 was such a big deal, I had done it every year. Ruth, actually, before he got slow, was a pretty good base stealer, so there's a chance he could have done 30-30. Maybe 40-40. 50-50 is a stretch. He wasn't as that good of a base runner, but is a lot more different game. Maybe he could have done it. That's the thing, is you have to take the sample size of Ohtani's doing it. It's absolutely just outrageous that he's doing it. But
And then you remember that he's also a Cy Young caliber pitcher on the other side as well.
you have to
which
think
is insane.
that like Mays could have done it. I don't know if he ever hit 50 home runs. He might have. I know Hank Aaron never did. By the way, fun stat for you. He never hit 50 home runs in a season and was still the all-time home run leader. He was just so consistent with his home run hitting. No, I think that it would have been done before because we've only been thinking about it for the last 30 years, roughly, about their end. So, and baseball has how many years of history? So it may have been done earlier if people had thought about it or made such a big deal about it. But the point is, Ohtani has done it, and it's just crazy. I mean, the fact that he can steal bases, he has outstanding power.
While recovering from an
a
injury.
UCL injury, yeah. I mean, this was supposed to be like whatever we get from Ohtani is fine because we're not really worried about it.
It's like he may be worth the $700 million just as a hitter. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and he's still batting 300, which is so he's definitely the best. And people are gonna not like me saying this. I'm not an Ohtani hater, you know that. I love Ohtani, but he is the discussion of who's the best player of all time has come up again because he's done it.
Ohtani's the greatest player of all time.
Baseball is finicky. It is the most finicky, other than maybe football. Because football, the positions are so different. How do you weigh? In baseball, how do you weigh a guy like Ted Williams? As my dad has said, Ted Williams is the greatest two-tool player of all time. And that he's probably not wrong in that statement, right? Ohtani's not a five-tool player. He's not. He has a good arm, but he doesn't use it because he doesn't play the field. He was a good fielder, from what I remember, but field, so it doesn't matter. So he is a three-tool player. And then I heard Colin Cowherd, as me and my dad call him, say that he's the greatest six-tool player, counting pitching as a tool, which is just, please tell me you don't know baseball without telling me you don't know baseball and counting pitching as a tool. It's not a tool. There are probably actually, I think there is like a 5 tools for pitchers. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but I want to say it's like control, I think strikeouts. I think there is 5 tools for pitchers, but it's not as important.
Velocity?
It's not as maybe, but it's not as important as it is for hitters. To me, the greatest 5-tool player is Willie Mays of all time. He's probably to me, Willie Mays is the best all-around best player of all time. All around. Nobody can touch him. The thing is that Ohtani is hard to compare because he pitches and he hits. There's only one man who has ever had a good pitching history and hitting history, and that's Babe Ruth. And he did not do them at the same time like Ohtani did. So to me, Ohtani is a unicorn. We have never seen him, and we probably never will see him again. That is the thing. So to call him the greatest player, it's not wrong. You aren't wrong in saying that because he does something that nobody else has ever done. The only thing that Ruth, ironically, probably was still a better hitter, which is even crazier to imagine. Because I think have I done this with you before? I want you to take a guess at what Ruth's lifetime batting average is.
320.
So I get a lot of people.
Is that right?
No.
Okay.
No. I do that test. I get a lot of people who go, 280. They think he was a slugger. It's 342. I mean, come on now. Not only was he an outstanding power hitter, who still, even through the steroid era, is the all-time leader in slugging, OPS, and OPS plus.
Yeah.
Right? Not only did he have, how many seasons was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons with an OBP above 500. Ruth is probably still, ironically, a better hitter. Now, offensive player, because you want to argue the stolen bases, because Ohtani, that's definitely something you could argue. But don't bring down Ruth just because Ohtani's doing something great. That's what I want to let everybody know. Ohtani's doing something great. We will never see Ohtani again, ever. Some have tried to be two-way players, and it hasn't really worked. It really only works in high school and college. Ohtani is the first guy really to do a full two-way career in the MLB. And even though he's already had 2 Tommy Johns, so how effective is he going to be going forward?
Yeah.
And if he has a 3rd Tommy John, does he quit pitching? Right? So it's one of those, this is where you have to weigh. Ohtani is already he is already one of the greatest talents that baseball has ever seen.
Easily.
Because he doesn't have the numbers yet. The career numbers. Obviously, he's not done playing. He will have the career numbers when he retires, hopefully, barring injury. But, it's just
remarkable.
And he did it all in the same game, too.
Yeah, what a game. That was also probably the greatest game of all time.
Arguably, yeah, of an offensive player.
Not only did did he go 6 for 6 with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, getting the 50-50 mark, but also they clinched a playoff spot that same day.
So now the next one's going to be, could anyone, I'm going to ask this question. No, it's kind of, I don't say it's stupid to ask, but could someone do 60-60? Because you got to have a guy.
I don't know.
If Acuna is fully healthy,
he can't hit 60.
If he gets hot, he would probably be. If I was,
he can't hit 60.
You don't think he could hit 60?
No.
That's the problem. Is who could hit?
Judge can hit 60, but he won't steal 60.
No, he won't steal 60.
It's got to be Ohtani.
Or unless somebody else comes up. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but Langford has the power and speed. Will he hit 60 home runs in a season? That's kind of absolutely nuts to imagine.
Ohtani might have a chance this year. I doubt it, but
God, if he hits 60,
7 more home runs and 5 stolen bases.
No, he would have to have a stolen base every game and at least a game with 2 home runs or 3 home runs. So no, probably not happening.
Not rolling it out though with him.
Now, if it does, it's gonna be difficult to not just go ahead and go, yeah, greatest player, whatever, go away. Anyway, that's your baseball update. I am so pumped for the playoffs.
Yes.
And you know what I'm pumped for? I'm pumped to not be reaching for the Tums every 5 minutes because of the playoffs. I'm ready to just sit back and just like every other year I've been a Rangers fan, just watch the playoffs as a baseball fan.
Just watch the star players.
If I was to root for a team, it's tough because the American League, I don't really have a team that I'm probably the Padres, honestly. They've never won. They have a manager who I love. They have a team that I really like. I'd probably just root for the Padres, honestly. But there's teams I like. I would root for the Mets. I would root for the Brewers. I would probably root for the Phillies because that's my pick. That was my preseason pick as the World Series champion, and so far that looks to be they are still probably, spoiler alert, going to be my pick for the World Series. unless like Harper and Schwarber and Nola and Wheeler all just get in a car wreck or some. I'm not saying that's, but they all break down middle of the field. I don't think that's going to happen. They're still my pick. But I think that's baseball. Is there anything else that we're missing? I can't.
I was just trying to look to see who I have.
I can't think of anything else that's happening that we need to update on. So in that case, we'll move to college football, where your Texas Longhorns are the number 1 team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty great to watch. And we got actually a really, really fun slate of games this week. We've got Oklahoma State at Kansas State, which is going to be, this is all on Saturday. Nebraska at Purdue. Hopefully Nebraska can get back on track. I'm a big fan of Nebraska. NIU lost, which really sucked because they were kind of a Cinderella story.
And now it's just like, they're way overrated, but it's okay. Good for them.
It's okay. Good for them. Hey, they will always say they can beat, all those guys will be able to tell their kids, you know what your dad did? I beat Notre Dame.
Yep.
And then that's pretty cool. Wisconsin at USC, Louisville at Notre Dame. That's 15-16 right there. So, you're going to have a team could drop out of the top 25. Arkansas at Texas A&M. Oklahoma at Auburn. Welcome to the SEC. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma. Tennessee absolutely massacred them.
Yeah.
You've got Clemson. People are already overrating Clemson again. I still don't think they're that good of a team, but that's just my opinion. Illinois at Penn State. Illinois is finally ranked. They're 4-0. You got 3-0 Penn State. That's a big game because if Illinois can win that, now the Big Ten gets a big shakeup in the playoffs. But the big game, the one that everybody's waiting for, and Chase, I'm sure you were expecting me to talk about, you have got, I don't want to call it the game because that's Ohio State, Michigan. You've got a game where 17 teams are sending scouts, NFL teams, okay? It is going to be probably one of the biggest games of the year until you get a non-playoff / bowl game or whatever. And that is number 2, the Georgia Bulldogs, heading to Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa to face the number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide.
Mm-hmm.
6:30 ABC. I don't care what we're doing. My butt is in a chair, and I am watching that game because I could not be more excited for that.
Yeah.
That is going to be absolutely fun to watch. It'll be the first really big-time chance for Kalen DeBoer. I don't think Bama has to win that game. They just have to. If they can compete with Georgia, because Georgia is the number 1 or 2. It's between them and Texas. Who's better? Right? That's the debate. But if Alabama can hang with them and make it a close game, 1-score game, maybe 10 points, right? They lose, 31-21, but it's close. Maybe Georgia scores a garbage time touchdown. Who knows, right? But, Alabama will then gain a lot of credibility because there's a lot of questions about them, especially Milroe. They lost Isaiah Bond. They lost their 2 starting corners. They lost Dallas Turner. They lost Nick Saban. They lost everything last year. And they've looked pretty good this year. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe they really played anybody that makes you go, ooh, they really beat up on a really good team there.
Right.
So this is, I think, DeBoer's chance to really show that his Alabama program can continue the excellence that Saban left behind.
Be good.
And we have got the NFL. I think that's it for college, the important games. Is Texas on a bye this week? 'Cause I didn't see him.
No, they play Mississippi State, I believe.
Oh, well, have fun with that, Mississippi
First game
State.
at SEC.
Now we've got the NFL, which makes me want to die, to put it bluntly. Week 3, Chase goes up another point in our game. He took Steelers. Yeah. He took Steelers. I took Chargers. So one game we disagreed on. But this was the weirdest week of football I can remember in a long time.
Yep.
You've got the Vikings mollywhopping the Texans. You have got the Giants beat the Browns, I believe, right? You've got what else happened? The Panthers beat the Raiders. Andy Dalton looks like a freaking MVP candidate.
Got to start questioning Bryce Young soon.
You definitely do. And then the Cowboys.
Yeah.
We called it. We said it.
Yeah.
I said pregame. I said, look, we're going to lose. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, which was nice to see. There was a lot of fight there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty bad right now. You really are. The problem with the Cowboys team building philosophy is that you build to the draft, and which is fine. The problem is that 2022 draft is already looking like a potential kind of meh where you really kind of missed in that draft class. And that is wait, 2022? No, 2023.
With
Excuse
Mozzie.
me. Yeah. I was having a brain fart there. I'm getting it. I'm getting the class on my phone here. It missing on that draft class. But see, after a year, missing that draft really hurts, right? In 2022, you had a really good draft in 2022, right? You found Tyler Smith, Sam Williams, Jalen Tolbert, and Jake Ferguson, and Deron Bland, all in that one draft, which is why you've are able to continue the way you are. But then 2023, you drafted Mozzie Smith, Luke Schoonmaker, who are both either backup, as a backup, and then a guy that hasn't really shown much yet. Overshown, he's the best player from the draft class so far. Junior Fehoko, cut. Austin Richards, backup. Eric Scott, I believe, either cut or backup. Deuce Vaughn, third string. Jalen Brooks, backup. So it's just the fact that you have to hit on all of these draft picks or else you're stuck.
Yeah.
And that is why their team building philosophy sucks. Is they get nobody chasing free agency. They didn't get one person. Who? Zeke. Sorry. Zeke. That's your free agent acquisition. Like, you cannot win games doing that consistently. You're getting no outside help. You are asking too much of your internal guys. I did a little thing. I was looking at our starters.
And they're not even getting the ball.
Do you know how many starters we have that are a free agent acquisition? Free agent. No. Outside the organization acquisition. Trade or free agent.
2.
And they are?
Zeke.
Yeah. He's not a starter.
Oh, right. Well, I guess you're right.
There's 2. You are right, there's 2. Malik Hooker, free agent.
And then, on the defensive side of the ball?
And then Brandon Cooks.
Yep.
That's it. That's literally it. Everybody else that's a starter for you was either drafted or UDFA. And that's fine if you hit on all of them. But when you don't hit, you have problems, as you've seen with the Cowboys. You ask your quarterback to be Superman. And Dak is a great quarterback. Dak is a top 10, top 12 quarterback. But asking him to be Superman is not always going. It can win you some games. It is not going to consistently win you games.
Yep.
McCarthy's a bad coach. I want him gone, fired. Bye. The team does not look interested in playing football. I'm not out on Zimmer yet because it's been 3 games, but so far his scheme looks archaic, old, not modern, can't do anything right, can't fill a gap, can't just do any. I mean, it feels like every time they're running the ball, there's nobody over there, which is unfortunate. So, yeah, which is the problem last year was not running outside the tackles was actually what we stopped pretty well last year. It was in between the tackles. We had nothing. Teams aren't running up the middle anymore against us. They're running to the outside. So it's like Zimmer fixed one problem, but it can't fix the other problem, but then created a new one. So, yeah, it not very fun to watch right now. Hope they turn it around, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, if not, I just hope they keep losing.
We're in for another year of
keep losing, and hopefully coaches will be gone, players will be added.
Yeah,
quicker.
Bill Belichick, please. That's what I want. I mean, he could turn things around as long as he's not making the personnel decisions, like final say. I'm fine with it.
Yes.
All right, but now we've got the Week 4 slate of games, and the Cowboys actually play tomorrow night against the Giants. So we get to preview that game first. I'm taking Dallas because we're better, but that's not saying much because it's New York.
Yeah.
So who are you taking?
Cowboys.
Yeah, I figured. So hopefully they can right the ship. But I mean, if we lose, I hate to say this, I wouldn't be surprised.
If we lose, then I want McCarthy and Zimmer should have a job next week.
So you were a McCarthy guy.
Well, I wasn't. Well, because he had 3 12-win seasons. I mean, how can you not be?
Because you could see the flaws in everything.
Right, and I
what
saw
he was
them.
doing.
It was just like
we're running the same offense that the 2010 Packers ran.
Yeah. No,
and it's in the same offense we ran the first 5 weeks of the season last year. Dak had to go into his office and say, "Hey, Mike, your offense sucks. Let's run something else." And Mike went, okay, I guess we'll do that. And then the offense miraculously looked great. They're running the same dang thing again. And Chase, you know football, right? You know what happens when you get into a hurry up? The quarterback is the one making a lot of the play call decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And when did our offense look the best this whole season, Chase? It was last week when Dak was running the hurry up the last couple minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Shocker!
Yep.
Maybe it's not a personnel problem actually at receiver, and it's a play calling problem. Just maybe, but that's just me. Vikings at Packers. I want a little asterisk here. I am taking the Vikings right now. If Jordan Love plays, I am taking the Packers. But if he does not play, I'm taking the Vikings. So we will. I've put that on the thing, so we got that.
Yes,
Chase,
Vikings.
Outright.
No, give me the Vikings, even if Love plays.
Outright. Okay.
Give me the Vikings.
Eagles at Buccaneers. Chase, who you taking? Bucks looked.
They looked bad, very bad. Broncos tore them apart.
Eagles have looked hit and
I'm
miss.
taking the Buccaneers because
Me too.
It sounds like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith might be out.
Yeah.
So I'll take the Buccaneers.
Saints at Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons.
I'm going to take the Falcons.
Okay.
Saints finally came down to earth. You knew it would happen eventually.
I think the Falcons need this win more than the Saints do.
Yeah.
Bengals at Panthers. Taking Bengals because Thielen's out.
Do it. Bengals aren't going to lose 4 in a row, are they?
Do it. Do it. You won't.
I really want to.
Do it.
I really do.
It'd be, hey, if you pull, it'd be the pull of the century.
I just don't think their defense can hang with that high-powered offense.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Bengals, but I really want to take the Panthers. I really think the Panthers will hang with them.
Rams at Bears. Rams are very not healthy, but they're scheming things. The Bears
The Rams just beat the Niners.
look, yeah, but the Rams got ramrodded by the Cardinals.
Bears.
Yeah, me too. I'm taking the Bears. Can you quit agreeing with me? I have to gain games somehow. Jags at Texans.
Texans.
Yeah, that's shocker. Get Lawrence out of there now. Steelers at Colts. Who you taking? I mean, this is definitely a toss-up game.
I'm just going to rely on the better defense. Give me the Steelers.
Yeah, me too. Gosh dang you, Chase. Broncos at Jets. Broncos finally look good for once. But,
Yeah.
but the Jets. who
I
you
mean,
taking?
we know Surtain is going to be on Garrett Wilson, so we'll see how that is. So, but again, I just trust the better team. So give me the Jets.
Quit trusting the better team. Commanders at Cardinals.
Whew.
Definitely a game where you could definitely go
I can go with either one of these.
either one of these teams. You could see Daniels running all over them. You also could see the Cardinals having a plan for him, putting Zayvon Collins on him.
Cardinals.
Yeah, me too. Patriots at 49ers.
Niners.
Yeah, shocker. Chiefs at Chargers.
Chiefs.
Shocker. No. I almost put a C. I almost put a C for Chargers on accident. Oh no, you said Chargers. Look at that. I got it right down here. Browns at Raiders. This is going to be the greatest game ever.
Raiders.
Okay, finally you disagree with me. I'm taking Browns.
Okay.
I'm actually doing what you always say. I'm trusting the better roster and the better defense.
Raiders have a better defense.
Disagree.
I think the Raiders have better defense. I think they have a top 5 defense.
Bills at Ravens.
Even though they didn't look like it. Ooh.
I mean, Ravens don't have the record, but maybe they figured it out. Bills are 3-0 though.
Bills just look really good. Bills.
I'm taking the Ravens.
Okay.
I don't say gut feeling, but yeah, gut feeling. Titans at Dolphins. Tua's not playing.
Dolphins.
I see. It's funny. I think I heard that Skylar Thompson's out too.
They were talking about bringing up Tyler Huntley, which they 100% should.
They should just put Tyreek Hill at Wildcat. Run that old Dolphins offense.
Dolphins.
I'm taking the Titans.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a game where Levis finally has something good go for him. Seahawks at Lions. Now, I want to make a note here. I'll go first. I really want to say Seahawks. You know how you really wanted to say
Panthers?
Panthers?
Yeah.
I really want to say Seahawks.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
But I'm going to say Lions.
In Detroit?
Yes, it's in Detroit. I'm going to trust a better team at home.
Detroit.
So we disagreed on 3 games. So hopefully, please.
What is the overall record? Am I up 5 games?
You were up 6.
6, okay.
So I need all 3 of these to get back in. It's only week 4. I got a lot of time. But I believe, wow, it's only been 35 minutes.
All right.
That is really quickly.
So it happens when there's two sports.
Not a lot of storylines.
Active
I mean,
and
Bryce Young.
The end of baseball.
Bryce Young looks bad. Yay. I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know. Hey, I called that quarterback. I definitely did. I was big on Stroud.
Yeah, I was 100% sure.
Seth has wanted me to make a note. He wanted to. If you don't know Seth, he appears on the draft show. Appeared on the draft show the last 2 years. He would like to. He had a message for everybody. I forgot about this. That he is right and the greatest thing ever. That he picked that Jaden Daniels to be the best quarterback in the draft.
I had Daniels too. I just knew he wasn't going to go one.
It's one of those. Me and you also agreed with him, but you weren't with him when he was still at Arizona State,
No.
and he was still saying he is going to be a great quarterback. Watch, and he is right. I hate it that he's right so many times on freaking
But listen,
quarterbacks.
I mean, I'm still giving Caleb a lot of time. I mean, he didn't look terrible versus the Colts.
He looks rushed.
It's just he's got the pieces around him. Just give him some time.
He looks rushed. He doesn't look comfortable. UNT beat Wyoming. Didn't mention that. Yay. I mean, UNT looks probably gonna go to a bowl game.
3-1. Yeah, that's the goal. That's as a team that's not a good football team. Historically, you just want to get to a bowl game and see if you can win a bowl game because they've made it to bowl games.
Best case scenario for a season in the UNT is conference championship.
Oh, easily.
That's the best case scenario.
Easily.
Not playoffs or anything. Just
ideally ideally is
win a bowl game.
winning a bowl game. Realistically, is making a bowl game.
Yeah. But yeah, we talked about the Cowboys. I just, I don't feel like going on a rant today.
No.
It's not worth it. I could probably go on a 50-minute rant about this team. But you know what? I'm gonna enjoy watching football. Hope that I see some pieces for next year. I'm kind of already moving on to next year, honestly.
Yeah, I am too.
Because I think this is gonna be a really good draft class. College football looks really good right now. I think it's gonna be a really good draft class. I have been asked what happened. I mean, obviously we extended Dak, but I have been asked if we did draft Shedeur and sign Deion Sanders as head coach, what I would do, and my answer is run out in front of a train. That would be my answer to you guys for anyone that wants my answer on that question, because I would not be very happy. I don't think either of them are very good. I think Shedeur is at best a 4th-round pick right now.
Yeah,
at best. He looks talented, but everything of him as a person and a teammate looks terrible. So, anyway, I believe that's going to do it for us here today. We will be back, obviously, next Wednesday. I'm sorry there were technical difficulties with the episode last week, and I wasn't able to distribute it because for some reason it didn't publish. And when I tried to publish it again, it still didn't publish. So you missed last week's episode, which is probably like why we referenced last week. What the hell are they talking about? I didn't hear last week. Well, that's why. Sorry, there were technical difficulties, but there will not be today and this week. And then next week we'll have our playoff predictions for baseball that were done pre wild card game 1. If I have to do them Tuesday morning before the first game starts because we didn't know, I will do them then. We will have obviously the NFL and more college football. So we will see you guys next week.
Have a good one.